linaw, kauswagan, panuntaron, palamon, bisan asa mudangan, sa amo papaling kamon, ikaw amo kanunay, lahan rumon, ikaw amo kanunay, lahan rumon.
Senor Santo Nino, tugluhi kami Ginoo, na magmahal kanimo, Pilipinas, imong yuta. Senyor Santo Nino, kalibutan gisaknay mo, pagtukangayan, kung magkalinaw hatagan.
Dinihing pulutan di saat gigasang inadala sa Diyos. Oh, pinanggang bata, karon ug kami adto banwag kaskalag, among gabayan, siganing dugahan.
Senyor Santo Nino, tugluhi kami Ginoo, na magmahal kanimo, Pilipinas, imong yuta. Senyor Santo Nino, kalibutan gisaknay mo, pagtukangayan, kung magkalinaw hatagan.
Ang sakayan nila midunggo, dinigin aron magmando, ni iniyuta namo, apa nagbuot ka, ipon kanila, aron ka maghari, imong
Santo Nino, kalibutan gisaknay mo, pagtugangayan, kung magkalilaw hatagan.
Aray na pagtuong ni dawat, miampok sila, ug giludhan kanila, nalipay ang tanan, misambit nimo, nangayog panabang, ug sa bendisyon.
Senyor Santo Nino, tugluhi kami Ginoo, nga magmahal kanimo, Pilipinas, imong yuta. Senyor Santo Nino, kami
Today on the program, the comparative analysis of the two paintings depicting how the ancient Filipinos were Christianized. Which of these two paintings is true? The whole answer will be thoroughly discussed in our Trivia Express segment. The transfer of Christian religion from Jerusalem to the Philippine soil will be thoroughly discussed.
Patubali sa pugma.
Adios, Senor
Santo Nino. Ato siya hatagan sa ato pinakamasikang pakpak sa baktay. Viva Senyor! Viva Senor Santo Nino!
Viva Senor
Viva Big Senyor! May pinakamasikang pakpak ng Senyor Santo Nino.
Reasons why Catholics do novenas in its biblical and historical basis will be revealed. Santo Nino feast was originally celebrated every April 28 annually. Reasons why the feast was transferred from its original date to the third Sunday of January will be thoroughly discussed in our Trivia Express segment. Let's discover the history of the famous Sinulog Festival. And after a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic scare, usual Sinulog traditions are now finally took place. And let's further compare the number of devotees attended in year 2020 and in year 2023. Hello, good afternoon, magandang hapon, mayang hapon, buenas tardes, Filipinas, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Be ready because it's Fiesta Senor 2023, the It's Adventure Time Philippines Sinulog Edition.
Viva Senor Santo Nino. Viva Vive Senor. Viva Senor Santo Nino. Viva Vive Senor.
Senyor
Señor.
Santo Diyos ang imong ngalan, gisimba gitahod namo, sa trono gimahal namo, sa yutag langit halaran, unhayang paghari nimo, magpagdaig marimo. O pamati ang awit, way hunong sa kerubines, manununda serapines, dinhiug dito giawit, yutalog pa sa pagtuo, Santo, Santo, Santo Diyos. Yutalog pa sa pagtuo, Santo, Santo, Santo Diyos.
El Señor, kilangalan maging Señor.
Celebrating a fiesta annually is one of the well-accustomed traditions and part of the Filipino culture. Fiesta is the time when we express our words of gratitude for all the blessings received and given to us from our Supreme Being, who is our God, the Almighty Father. These things became possible through the intercession of our Blessed Mother and our patrons, who became part of our Christian living since our childhood days, in a tradition which was passed from our ancestors from generation to generation. The third Sunday of January is the feast of the Holy Child Jesus, Senor Santo Nino. Let's take a look and know further why the feast was formerly celebrated every April 28th through our latest video blog for this year.
Maria,
There are a series of posts coming from numerous anti-Catholic, Christianophobic, and Hispanophobic sects saying that ostensibly, Filipinos became Catholics through the use of violence and force. How true is this? Which picture is true? Let's begin with painting number 1. Painting 1 was not in a Philippine setting, but rather a Mexican setting, where the battle between the native Mexicans and the Spanish conquistadores took place. That is, the Tigex War. As we look closely on the background of the painting, those are adobe houses, which are made with thickened mud and commonly seen in Spanish-speaking countries like Mexico and Chile, while most of the ancient nipa houses in the country were only made of light materials like palm leaves for the roof and bamboos for the walls, foundations, ladders, and the like. The other thing is, the battle took place in the desert, which definitely contradicts with the pre-colonial Philippines, where majority of its places were forests. Painting 2 tells the real history, where ancient Filipinos openly embraced the Catholic faith at the first Mass in Limasawa Island, southern Leyte, and first baptism in Cebu, where Raha Humabon or Raha Carlos in Christian name, and his wife Hara Humamay or Juana in Christian name, were the first baptized Catholics under the blessing of Fray Pedro Valderrama. It is also where Raha Carlos and Ferdinand Magellan had a blood compact and giving of images of Senor Santo Nino, Our Lady of Guadalupe, and the Eche Homo as a gift of the Christian faith. Again, which of these 2 pictures is true? Well, you'll be the one to answer.
Maghimaya ka, Maria, puno ka sa grasya. Ang Ginoong Diyos, para kanimo, ulahan ka sa mga bagay nga tanan. Ulahan ang bunga sa tiyan mo na si Jesus. Santa Maria, Ina sa Diyos, iabot mo kami, mga makasasala, karunong sa anak na sa kamatayon. Karunong sa anak na sa
If the Catholic Church is the true church founded by our Lord Jesus Christ, how was the Philippines became a Christian country? This will be thoroughly answered through this argument written by a Catholic faith defender based from Southern Leyte, Brother Noel Bernales Risma. According to Brother Risma, his argument was divided into 4 points, namely, first, from Jerusalem, which is the capital city of Israel. Second, from Jerusalem to Rome, which is now the capital city of Italy and also part of the Vatican City. Third, from Rome to Spain, and then lastly, from Spain to the Philippine soil. Let's begin with Jerusalem, the capital city of Israel. Jerusalem is the place where Christianity was originated. This is when our Lord Jesus Christ appointed Peter to be his successor and to be the first pope of the church. This was written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verses 17 to 18, saying that Peter is the rock, and upon that rock, Jesus will build his church, and the gates of death will not be able to overcome it. On the other hand, the church was founded in Jerusalem during the Pentecost. This was written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, verse 47, and in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. The second point, from Jerusalem to Rome. Geographically, Rome is the capital city of Italy and part of the Vatican City. It was actually the will of Jesus that Christianity will be transferred to a place where people believe in his existence. These are the non-Jewish people. Although both Judaism and Christianity are quite connected with Abraham or the Abrahamic religions, these two religions always have a conflict regarding belief systems, where Jews only believe in the Old Testament, particularly with the Law of Moses, or the Ten Commandments, where these were written in the books of Exodus and Deuteronomy. These are actually part of the first 5 books of the Bible named the Pentateuch, while Christians believe in both Old and New Testaments. The transfer of Christian religion from Jerusalem to Rome was written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 10, and in chapter 21, verse 43. Acts of the Apostles, chapter 13, verses 46 to 47, and in chapter 23, verse 11, and in Rome, chapter 1, verses 7 to 8. The third point, from Rome to Spain. Well, at this point, Christianity was transferred from a European country to another European country. This was done through the efforts of St. Paul, where his journey to Spain was written in his letters to Rome, chapter 15, verse 24 and 28. And in his first letter to Timothy chapter 2, verse 7. And the last point, from Spain to the Philippine Islands. At this point, Brother Risma's written argument used both biblical and historical references. The defense behind this one is not all things were written in the Bible, and the specific verses can prove that one are the Gospel of John chapter 21 verse 25 and Job chapter 8 verse 8. Through these written verses, we can furtherly conclude that the Protestants' Bible alone doctrine can be furtherly objected. To become objective is to argue using facts, while to become subjective is to argue using opinions. Additionally, Filipino historian Dr. Sonia M. Zaide quoted at her article, "The Philippines, a Unique Nation," that Christianity is the greatest legacy of Spain to the Filipino people, and strangely, Christianity was Asian by both nature and origin, and was founded in Palestine and Israel. Historically, the Philippines was named by Ruy Lopez de Villalobos in honor of King Philip II. That's the reason why the Philippines was accidentally discovered or discovered by mistake by Portuguese explorer Fernando Magallanes or Ferdinand Magellan. His expedition began at Malhon, or the present Omonhon, and Tandaya, the present Samar. In accordance with Republic Act No. 4221 of 1965, Samar, or formerly called as Samal, Ibabaw, Sibabaw, and Tandaya, is divided into three parts, namely, the northern part where its capital is Catarman, the eastern part with Borongan, and the western part with Catbalogan. Moreover, Republic Act No. 5650 of 1965 was passed approving that the western part will bear the name Samar, not anymore Western Samar. Next, the Magellan expedition happened in southern Hiraite or Ceylani, the place named by an Italian explorer, Antonio Pigafetta, referring to the present Leyte. In accordance with Republic Act No. 2227 of 1959, the southern part of Leyte will have its separate province, having Maasin City as its capital, while the northern part will remain as Leyte, having Tacloban as its capital city. Third, and Cebu, the present Cebu. This is where Magellan gave the Santo Nino image to Hara Humamay or Juana in Christian name, and Raha Humabon or Raha Carlos also in Christian name on April 7th, year 1521, and where he died on the Battle of Mactan on April 27th of the same year. Cebu is quite rich with history, like for being the first capital of the country, the place where the first baptism took place, the oldest province to be established since 1565, the oldest city being established, having the oldest road named after Italian explorer Christopher Columbus or Cristobal Colon, and the like. More stories coming on your way when IAT Philippines returns. ever wondered and asked why we Catholics do novenas in honor of our patrons and the purpose of doing it? Here's why. The novena is a kind of intensified prayer which is usually done for 9 consecutive days. If we say the phrase intensified prayer, this is the time that we offer prayers, either to obtain special graces, to implore special favors, or to make special intentions amid the preparation of a major feast. Doing this kind of intensified prayer was recorded from the Gospel of Apostle Evangelist Saint Luke on chapter 24 verse 47 and from the book of the Acts of the Apostles chapter 1 verse 12 until chapter 2 verse 5 of the New Testament of the Holy Bible, where the 12 apostles, together with the Blessed Virgin Mary, prepared for the Feast of Pentecost for 9 days. In the other hand, some references say that the Pentecost is the founding anniversary of the Catholic Church, while the other references say it's not. The word novena comes from the Spanish ordinal number, which means ninth, and comes from the Latin word novem, which means 9. There are 4 types of novenas. Novena for the preparation of a major feast. Novena for mourning.
Tawa sa inyong mga mata, ang galaw mga ganda, na namatay ka tuwing na namatay, isang pagkakalo.
Amen.
Novena for petition. And novena for penance.
Tungod sa iyong masulubong pagpasakit. Tungod sa iyong masulubong pagpasakit.
While novenas are taken either inside the Catholic Church or a Catholic chapel, we also hear the word gozos. The gozos is a popular poetic compositions which are sung in honor to the Holy Trinity or the Latria, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Hyperdulia, Saint Joseph, the Protodulia, and to the saints, Dulia. Gozos comes from the Spanish word which means joy and expression of gladness, and from the Latin word gaudium, which means joy. Thus, gozos is literally meant as overtures of rejoicing and exuberance. They are sung in the context of an important religious act, such as the Mass of a great feast, a procession, or the blessing of an image, etc. Its goal is to render thanksgiving for received blessings, or as an entreaty for a petition of protection against evil. Of a written or oral character, it can be traced back to the Middle Ages and are preserved in most cases in documents of great artistic value which are attempting to collect, dignify, and show. Historically, devotionally, and artistically speaking, gozos is used as votive prayers. In the Philippines, the gozos is almost exclusively sung within the context of a novena. Its structure is antiphonal, that is, it is usually sung in 2 parts, the verses by the leader of the novena, the refrain by the rest, while in music, it is strophic, that is, all its verses are set to the same tune or melody. The copla is treated as the refrain of the gozos, but this can be misleading. The copla is typically composed of 4 lines.
kami imong natabangan kay paglaom ka kanamong tanan paglaom ka kanamong tanan.
The last two lines of the copla are called the estribillo, and these are the ones which are normally repeated after each verse. If there are only two lines, then the entire copla is repeated after each verse.
San Jose, mo kaming palabanan sa kinabuhi sa kamatayon. San Jose, mo kaming palabanan sa kinabuhi sa kamatayon. Sa danan kung si Maria, dili mo ang misteryo hibawan. Gituyo nga mingawon, naubura kakaliyan. Kasangitan akong tuhod, makalinis sa mga tasto. San Jose, mo kaming palabanan sa kinabuhi sa kamatayon.
The estrofas are the verses of the gozos. It can have a minimum of 4 lines, a standard number of 6 lines, and a maximum number of 8 lines, 2 sets of 4 lines.
Sa syudad sa suko, ang matahong mong larawan. Sa unang mga misyonero, sa usang balay hipalkan. Kanina ikaw nagpakita, ikanda sa imong gugma.
If the estrofa has the standard 6 lines, the last 2 lines are called deletrilla, and these, together with the estribillo of the copla, are sung as the refrain.
Sa Diyos na pinindaan, sukat sa walay sinugan. Ihimo ka nakatingalan, kang ngalan nakaliwatan, kaysa ilang kasalanan. Igawas ka na ulan, kaysa ilang kasalanan. Igawas ka na
If there are only 4 lines, the entire copla is repeated after each verse. If there are 8 lines, the repetition will then depend on the established tradition of the plays. The gozos exists as Dalit and Tagalog areas, and these are either recited or sung. In the Visayan territories, the tradition is quite robust. Every time we hear and we sing the Batobalani Gozos, we cannot escape the reality that we become quite emotional due to our deep devotion to the Holy Child Jesus, Senor Santo Nino. Especially that all of us Catholic Christians have our own personal intentions. At the first words of the Gozos, we hear these words.
Sa
and at the chorus part. The custom of waving hands during the chorus part of the Santo Nino Gozos began in year 1985, where its biblical bases were written in the book of Psalms, chapter 63, verse 4, and the first letter of St. Paul to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 8, while the celebration of Novena Masses at the Basilica's Pilgrim Center began in year 1990s. The word Batobalani means magnet. Thus, the Holy Child Jesus is the magnet of love, while the Cebuano word nangilaba means beseech. Cebuano linguist and journalist June Tariman at his report in Cebuano News of Solar News Channel, which is now the present CNN Philippines, said the words Batobalani and nangilaba are no longer used in Cebuano language in today's millennium. Nevertheless, we can still hear these words at the famous Santo Nino Gozos. At this point, let's hear the estrofas or the verses of the famous Santo Nino Gozos. According to the research titled The Hermeneutics of the Gozos for Senor Santo Nino de Cebu, this part expresses the declaration of the Holy Child's love that magnetizes the devotee's charm. The Cebuano phrase, sada ang tao, refers to the ancient Cebuano people, while the Cebuano word palangga means beloved. The chorus part serves as the devotee's response while they are waving their hands facing to the altar where the image of Senor Santo Nino is enthroned. Because of the greatest number of crowd attending to the Novena Masses, some of the devotees stay outside of the basilica. They pay attention religiously with the singing of the gozos. They hold the image of Senor Santo Nino, raise and wave it with their hands, following the instruction of the lector and the melodious voice of the cantors. As said earlier, the custom of waving hands during the chorus part of the Santo Nino Gozos began in year 1985, where its biblical bases were written in the book of Psalm, chapter 63, verse 4, and in the first letter of St. Paul to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 8.
Misyonero sa usang bayan.
The first verse tells about Cebu City, where it became the center of Christianity in the Philippines through Spanish missionaries. The Cebuano phrase, "Sa usang balay hipalgan," depicts the story of Kaplag, where the Holy Child Jesus was found by a soldier named Juan Camus amid the burned nipa houses on April 28, year 1565.
Sa pagtanaw kanimo, Kristiyano, sila nahimo.
The second verse speaks about the Christianization of the early Cebuanos, in which the worship of the Santo Nino or the Holy Child starts for these people, kneeling and asking for blessings and protection. To worship means to practice latria, which means that the Holy Trinity alone must be only worshipped.
Ang simbahan di patihindo, ni atong mga tawhana, aron ang larawan nimo, dunay usang tuloy ug dito gihangyod nila nga kaluyan, himo sila.
The third verse speaks about the institution and establishment of churches to serve as the home of the Holy Image and the refuge of the devotees.
Nangayo kami kanimo, nga ang matahumong larawan, sa sulod sa kalagnahan mo, makahimong tuloy kaysa tanang kinahanglan, ikaw ang among dalampan.
The last verse speaks about the Santo Nino or the Holy Child Jesus as an integral part of the lives of the Cebuanos.
Senor San Jose, matarong kagayo, ang imong kinabuhi, santos nga matuod. O Senor San Jose, makita kang takos, kamo may magdalan kay sa bata nga si Jesus.
Senor San Jose, Esposo nga puti, sa inangan sa Diyos, putliwan mo kami. O Senor San Jose, bantayan mo kami sa among kamatay, tabangan mo kami.
Senyor, Senyor, kilangan mag-greet Senyor.
The Sinulog was started as a celebratory ritual of the natives of Cebu, the former name of Cebu. It was believed that Malay migrants from Borneo were the first to dance the Sinulog. The said ritual was changed when the Spaniards arrived, led by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan or Fernando Magallanes. As stories foretold, Magellan had a mistake beyond his navigation on shores, which resulted to his accidental discovery of the Philippine soil. The said expedition arrived on Cebu on Sunday, April 7th, year 1521. Christianity started when Magellan introduced the little image of the Holy Child Jesus, Senor Santo Nino, as a gift from Spain to Raja Humabon and Queen Juana, the chair of the native settlers of Cebu. Together with their constituents, Raja Humabon and his wife Humamay were the first baptized Filipino Catholics. When the two got baptized by Fray Pedro Valderrama on April 14, year 1521, Raja Humabon was named Carlos in honor of King Charles V, while Humamay was named Juana. The image of the Holy Child Jesus was a symbol of friendship and alliance between the tribe and Charles V of Spain. The said image became the natives' refuge. Since then, the natives came and knelt to the image in their own manner. The word Sinulog came from Cebuano adverb sulog, which was translated in English as like water current movement. That's why the dance steps were done in forward-backward manner. According to some narratives, the story behind the famous Sinulog dance came from Raja Humabon's confidant named Baladhay. It was all started when Baladhay suffered from illness that made Raja Humabon deeply saddened. Raja Humabon mandated his tribe to carry Baladhay on a chapel where the Holy Child Jesus was located. Ephemerally, Baladhay was found by the natives in a very good condition while vigorously dancing. Baladhay was asked what made him suddenly awake. Then spontaneously, he pointed the image of the Santo Nino located above his heading or uluhan in Cebuano that made him ostensibly awake. Baladhay himself frighteningly shouted, and he didn't know why he danced like water current movement. Until today, the 2 steps forward and 1 step backward movement dance is still used by the devotees of the Santo Nino or the Holy Child Jesus as ritual as an offering to the Holy Child. April 28th, year 1565, Juan Camus, a Spanish mariner of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, found the Balaang Bata sa Sugbo, or the Holy Child of Cebu, inside a pine box amid the ruins of burnt houses in a conflict between the natives and the soldiers of the expedition. The statue was honored with a procession. The Basilica Minore de Santo Nino de Cebu was built on the spot where the image was found. April 28th was the original feast day of Senor Santo Nino de Cebu. Pope Innocent XIII moved the feast day on the third Sunday of January to avoid conflict with the Easter celebrations. April 28th, year 1965, upon the approval of the late Pope and now Saint Paul VI through his apostolic letter Ut Clarificitor Nomen Domini, the image was canonically crowned by his papal legate Ildebrando Cardinal Antonueti in relation of the fourth centennial of the Christianization of the Philippine soil. The canonical coronation is a bestowing of a crown to a famous image in the Pope's name upon the request of the clergy and faithful of a specific diocese, especially if the image was made renowned by miracles or favors. The said golden crown, most probably patterned after the canonical crown of Nuestra Señora del Sagrario of Toledo, Spain, is swathed with diamonds and pearls, with the biggest pearl placed at the frontal side, signifying the Philippines as the Pearl of the Orient Seas. According to the article written by Justin Cayetano, the canonical crown was crafted in Spain and was worth 20,000 pesos on the said year. Additionally, Saint Paul VI was the first pope who visited the Philippine soil in year 1970, then followed by Pope and now Saint John Paul II in years 1981 and 1995, and finally by our current Pope, Pope Francis, in year 2015. May 2nd, year 1965, the papal bull Cubanula Religious was issued, and the church where the Santo Nino was enshrined was raised to the level of minor basilica of Santo Nino. Aside from the festivities in Cebu, there are also celebrations held in other parts of the country where the image of the Holy Child Jesus is honored. First, the Senor Santo Nino de Tondo and Manila is the second oldest Holy Child image in the country, followed by the Senor Santo Nino de Arevalo and Iloilo City. Catholic Facebook pages Hugot Seminarista, Seminarians Musings, and the Servants Chronicles posted articles regarding the Christological images, which were canonically crowned, and here are the following. First, Gesù Bambino de Araceli in Italy. Second, Gesù Bambino de Arenzano, still in Italy. Third, the Infant Jesus of Prague of Czech Republic. And lastly, our very own Senor Santo Nino de Cebu in the Philippines. In relation, Catholic website Pintakasi at their article said that there are more than 50 Marian images and one Christian image which were canonically crowned. Hermeneutically, the words Señor and Santo Nino can be found in the Bible if you read the Spanish Bible, and since words as aforementioned were Spanish by nature and by etymology. Señor means king, lord, sir, and master. On the other hand, Pit Señor is a shortened Cebuano phrase for Sang Pit sa Señor. Sang Pit means to ask, to call, and to plead. Santo Nino means Holy Child. Viva means long live, mabuhay, or mabuhi. Example, Viva Cristo Rey is long live Christ the King. Trivia: 60% of our Filipino vocabulary came from Spanish origin, while the remaining 40% came from Austronesian origin, including the Bahasa Melayu. Our church and we Catholics do not believe with the Bible alone doctrine, but rather we believe with the sacred scripture, sacred tradition, and sacred magisterium. John chapter 20 verses 30 to 31, John chapter 21 verse 25, and the second letter of St. Paul to the Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 15 and chapter 3 verse 6 clearly refutes Bible alone doctrine. The first celebration of Sinulog took place in year 1980, where numerous group of students of Cebu performed the Sinulog dance during the feast of the Senor Santo Nino, until it became widespread and recognized as the mother of all festivals in Cebu. The Basilica Minore del Santo Nino was formerly known as San Agustin Church before 1965. Moreover, this was believed to be the former house of the late chieftain Rahaw Mabon, who became Carlos in honor of King Charles V when got baptized by Fray Pedro Valderrama. Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu Media Center's Sister Lorraine Mitzi Ambrad will give us some additional details about the church, which was declared a minor basilica in year 1965 by the late Pope and now Saint Paul VI, the first Pope who visited the Philippines.
Good day, Cebu, and to everyone in the world. Welcome to Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu.
The Basilica is the first church founded in the Philippines and is run by the Augustinians since 1565. It is also known as the home of the Holy Child Senor Santo Nino. Aside from these facts, how well do we know Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu?
Busa, unsa pa may atong gihuwat? Tara na sa Basilica! Welcome to the Santo Nino Chapel. This marble chapel features a bulletproof glass urn for the 5th-century-old image of Senor Santo Nino de Cebu.
The growing number of devotees led to the construction of this chapel for a more accessible veneration.
Another fact to note is that this original image is only taken out once a year, that is in January, for its revesting. The last time that it was used for an outside activity was in 1993. Santo Nino Chapel is just one of the many places that we need to know more about here in Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu. This is Mitzi, and join me in the next episodes as we explore more sites. This is Tara Na sa Basilica! Good day, Cebu, and to everyone in the world. Last week, we learned more about the Santo Nino Chapel here in Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu. For this episode, let's tour to the Basilica's belfry. This is Mitzi, and this is Tara Na sa Basilica! OSA. Hello, Father.
Hello, hi.
And Father will give us a tour to the belfry today. Father Rick, we see here mga different bells, no? So, pila mong kabuok ni, and can you tell me more about this
Okay, so originally, no, we have 7 bells here in the Basilica Belfry, sa kining chamber sa mga sa mga bells, and 7 pero karon unong na lang. It's because of what happened last 2013, the earthquake, no? Eventually naayo man ning atong ang atong belfry, but the biggest was retained downstairs. It's because of some issues sa stability. So they put it into a memorial place. But we have here 6 fully functional bells. No? Even though nag-earthquake, wala gyud sila maunsa.
Kung saan sila nga 6 ka bells, Father Leon, nganong lain-lain sila og sizes sa installation?
So, if you can see now kung mag-bell ang simbahan, lain-laing mga tono.
Yes.
So it's because of that kind of tradition sa simbahan, kay naana siya ka ng gitawag na itong mga patterns. There is a pattern for bell for a certain liturgical celebration, such as kung may misa ba na sa patay, para ba na kasal, but and even before in the kwan sa kanang mga panahon sa Castilla, especially during the times nga na ay mga raids, no, mga Moro attacks, there's also a pattern for that. Makita niyo actually diri sa atong kwan natay pinakagamay, no? And then, of course, ang pinakadako na nasa ubos, but the second biggest here, I think, is up your back, no? Mauna siya ang second biggest, naagad siya sa atubangan sa simbahan, sa niche, no? Sa bintana, atubangan sa simbahan, no?
Father, nakanotice ko na agad siya inscriptions ng mga names. Minsan sila.
Okay, so kung nakita nato diri sa atong kwan, sa atong mga bells, nag-display names. It's because bells are in the tradition of the church being blessed. Bendisyonan gina sila for the dedication, for the use of the church and celebration of the liturgy. So muna nga naagi sila names, and nindot kayo kay even ang bells will tell history, no? Nindot kayo kay naagi siya date, at least naagi siya date pirmi. And then kung kinsa ang nigamaan na o nagulmaan na sa bell, kanang mga molder sa bell, mao na ang ilang ikuan or gatas sa bell. And of course, sa uban, of course, kung karon ba atong tanaw kanang pangalanan ganyan pangalan sa project, no? Ingon ana sad sa time sa kuan kay even in Vatican, in Rome, kung maghimo sila og mga public works, they will identify with the year and at the same time with the Pope, no? Kung kinsa garing nga Pope at the time. Sa atong bells ingon ana sad, at the time kung kinsa ang prior sa Santo Nino, mo na pangalan ni butang. So makakita patag bells din nga naay mga pangalan sa mga prior o sa mga pari nga maoy pangulo diri sa community sa mga Agustinian sa Basilica during that time, no?
Ang atong oldest bell, sa
Santo Nino, mo na pangalan ni butang. So makakita patag bells din nga naay mga pangalan sa mga prior o sa mga pari nga maoy pangulo diri sa community sa mga Agustinian sa Basilica during that time, no?
Ang atong oldest bell, sa
Ang atong oldest bell is around 1700s. Na siya sa ubos mo itong pinakatapos. Tanan nga supposed to be before diri na siya sa diri na siya sa kwan sa front, no, na ay kwan diha ka ng beam nga mao'y mag kwan sa iyahang waist, no.
siya ang centerpiece.
Okay na siya, and mo ni kanunay gamiton sa mga kuan sa mga orasyon, no. That's in 6 o'clock in the evening and even 12 noon, no, kanang Angelus, no, orasyon ng tawag ana. So they will ring the bell. And then may mga lain-laing mga kuan, mga pagpagting sa simbahan, alas-8 para sa patay, alas-8 gabi. So nasa dai ka ng pattern nga kuanon ang bell, no, i-ring ang bell.
Okay. By the way, Father, as we can recall, 2013 na-destroy na siya mag-belfry. When was it na-restore na ito balik? And what were the challenges man para lang mabalik niya sa iyang former glory?
Yes. Ang unang kuan nga challenge diri sa kuan is how to integrate a kind of technology nga mahimong likon ang atong belfry, and of course the challenge also of how to replicate the original belfry. Why? Because una sa tanan, ang katong unsa nga kuan nga teknolohiya ang atong gamiton, it's because nga kuan kanang ganahan sila nga kining belfry nato karon earthquake proof na siya. Pero ang problema is that we have to respect the heritage laws. That's why nga mao na kinahanglan nato nga faithful gyapon siya sa architecture, pero likon kayo siya. So mo na ang kaduha nga gikuan nga i-take note nila sa pag-construct ni is that to follow really as much as possible the original, pero nana ni siya yung mga modern reinforcement kag i-integrate diri sa atong sa atong belfry nga bago.
So na-restore ni siya in what year?
Nahuman ni siya eventually by the end of 2015 and completely by the first quarter of 2016 na okay na gid siya, kompleto na gyud, no. So by March 2016 i-turn over siya sa atong government through National Historical Commission of the Philippines sa Panguluhan sa Basilica.
So around 3 years is that?
Yes, around 3 years.
So kinsa may mga ni-help na to ani sa pag-restore?
Okay, so ang nagtabang ka nato ang government kayo, no? Pero LCP, no, tungod sa ilahang pagtabang, so na kompleto gayud siya. And of course, nagkalain-laing mga international and national agencies that help to reconstruct and to have a good design for this reconstruction of the belfry. And of course of course the monetary side comes from the government because this is covered and being protected by government laws on heritage, no? So mo na ang dakong tabang gikan kayo sa government. But there are also help coming from our devotees to help in rebuilding not only the belfry but also some parts of the basilica area nga naguba sa earthquake.
Kani siya nga site, Father, is considered mo siyang historical na venue site because of cultural heritage history. But then, sa mga bago na itong tubo karon nga nakita na nila nga, existing na siya, or possible selfie area lang. So, can you tell our public what's the significance of getting to know what's here in the Basilica, especially kanina belfry? Yanong importante man nga, we know our roots, our history for this site.
So the history sa atong belfry is very important kanatong tanan. It's because nga kining belfry is part of the history of our being Filipino and here in Cebu being Cebuanos, because kining bell mauni ang at the same time ang belfry mauni at the same time the watchtower sa katawhan, no? So kung may mga dangers that are coming during that time, mao kini ang tanawan, murag bantayan sa mga tao, no, nga mutanaw if there are dangers coming. So it is a symbol of our protection. It is not just a symbol of calling nga moadto tag simbahan kay tungod gitawag na kita. That's why they say always sa una po nga there is the Filipinos were under the rule of the bell, bajo de la campana, no? So mao kana nga it's not just all about that, but the most important message of this belfry is our historical proof that we have been protected as a community from marauding pirates at that time. But kung atong i-lift up pagayod ang mensahe kini, it is our protection because the belfry is a symbol of God standing among us, no? So gatawag ang Dios kanato pinaagi sa tingog sa mga lingganay, but at the same time also God is standing with us, living with us. So mo kana siguro ang manindot nga mensahe nining atong belfry. Mensahe kini, it is our protection because the belfry is a symbol of God standing among us, no? So gatawag ang Dios kanato pinaagi sa tingog sa mga lingganay, but at the same time also God is standing with us, living with us. So mo kana siguro ang manindot nga mensahe nining atong belfry.
In the previous episodes, we got to learn more about the chapel and the belfry of the Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu. At this time, we'll also learn more about one of the highlights inside the church, which is the Retablo Mayor. Here with me today is Reverend Father Rick Anthony Reyes, one of the historians of the Basilica. Father.
Hi, hello, Mitzi.
And this time, Father will be discussing to us what is the importance and the key features of the retablo here inside the Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu.
Church ang atong retablo mayor sa Basilica.
Father, no, it looks so intricate. They are nice kay siya kay may gold. How was this made? And kasi material nga gigamit ito.
Okay. So ang atong retablo along with other retablos nga sa una supposed to be na diri sa simbahan is made of wood, no? It was carved in wood, and historical notes and testimonies would say nga as early as 1700s, doon na nay mga retablo diri sa kuan sa sunod sa simbahan, no? So it means that what we can see at our back was actually a product of the 1700s nga kuan, and it was carved from hardwood. We cannot yet establish kung what wood, but we can speculate. They say kanang mga hardwood diri sa Cebu, I think some say that it's made of molave. It's molave. Some others say say ko tugas, no? But I don't know how but it's definitely it's a hardwood because until now it's still there.
So, still the original material.
Yes, so ang gausap-usap lang ana, no, is pintal.
Okay. This was not gold yet pag-start.
Sa testimony again sa atong kuan, sa atong mga historical accounts, it was gilded. So buta sabot na siya pintal ug gibutanan gud siya og gold leafing. So the original testimonies in history diri sa retablo nga it's made really, or it is really finished with gold leafing. So kung sa yung makita nimo karon, mao gid na siya supposed to be ang iyang former glory, no?
Okay. Father, nakita nato no nga mura siya na siya designs nga mga pillars. Unsa ni siya nga, unsa inspiration ani niya, or unsa ni tawag ani niya?
So ang makita nato nga columns are actually part of the kanang kuan, kanang ang iyang art is Baroque. Baroque ang iyahang style of art because it's kuan intricate, because of the intricate kuan. It's not just simply as kuan ma-floral, no? And then ang nakita nimo nga mga columns is a Solomonic style of column nga naay Corinthian, I think it's a Corinthian capital, no? Kini siya, no? This is kuan kanang, as I've said, it's made of in the style of Baroque, which is at that time, or which was at that time, maugid na ang kuan, ang kuan ba ang trend, no, sa mga design sa simbahan, no?
This time, no, let's go to the major details sa ato ang retablo, Father. How many statues are there, and who are these?
Well, what we can see, more or less, including kang Santo Nino, sa niche ni Santo Nino, o sa Santo Cristo sa Ubos Ana, murag 15 kabuok na mga niches, and more or less mga 12 ka mga santo ang gi-feature. So, who are these saints? First and foremost, the identity of these saints are, there are Augustinian saints, no? So, mga Augustinians, nga mga santo, nga mga i-venerate sa Augustinian order at the time, no? And then, why is it nga Augustinians ang i-feature tanan? It's because this church has been an Augustinian church from the very beginning, because the Augustinians were the ones established this church and nagduma sa sining simbahan, and at the same time also sila ang caretaker sa Santo Nino ever since from the beginning. So that's why we can see here that this identity, what we can see in the retablo, are the identity of Augustinian, of being an Augustinian. It's because of the Augustinian saints.
Father, as we can see here, no, there's Santo Nino, but there's someone above him. Kinsa man na siya, Father?
among kaluwasan. Ihandong kanunay ukipasidungan. Ang imong kaayo di ko hikalindan. Ug ihandong ko siya sa adlawng tanan. Ave, Ave Maria, Ave, Ave
Senor, Senor, kidangalan maging
The Augustinian order was the first order came in the Philippines in year 1565, then followed by the Franciscan order in year 1578, Jesuit order in year 1581, Dominican order in year 1587, and then lastly, the Recollects in year 1606. One of the episodes of Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu Media Center's Pagsubay, an Augustinian legacy journey, will give us some additional details about the church which was declared a minor basilica in year 1965 by the late Pope and now Saint Paul VI, the first Pope who visited the Philippines.
Pit Senor Cebu, Pit Senor kanatong tanan. Welcome to Pagsubay, an Augustinian legacy journey. Pagsubay is a Cebuano word which means to trace or go over again. This program aims to trace the imprints of the Order of St. Augustine in the Philippines, whose missionary zeal is anchored on the finding of the image of the Santo Nino in 1565. The discovered image was given by the Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan to the local Queen of Cebu 44 years earlier in 1521. Busa, unsa pa bay atong dugayan? Ali, magsubay tabay. The spread of Christianity is attributed to missionaries, the first of which were the Augustinians, who pushed to educate and convert native Filipinos to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And there was nothing more tangible to new Filipino Christians than a simbahan or church, helping the faithful reinforce their beliefs by allowing them to worship together. The churches built became the cornerstone of today's Christian Philippines and part of the country's tangible cultural heritage. Today we're here at the Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu, the first church founded in the Philippines and the first monastery here in the country. This convent was founded by Father Andres de Ordaneta on April 28, 1565, the very day the Legazpi Ordaneta expedition arrived in the island of Cebu. The Legazpi expedition had 5 Augustinian priests, or also known as the first 5 missionaries, namely Martin de Rada, Diego de Herrera, Pedro Gamboa, Andres de Aguirre, and the head of the mission, Andres de Ordaneta. May 8, 1565, Legazpi and his men planned the urbanization of the city and allotted a place for the church and convent of San Agustin where the Santo Nino image was found. When the Spanish regime in the Philippines ended, the Order of St. Augustine, or OSA, the pioneer evangelist in the country, founded 18 towns in the province of Cebu, and the first house founded in the city and in the whole Philippines was the San Agustin Church, now known as the Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu.
The facade of the basilica is a blending of Arabic, Romanesque, and neoclassical features. It is also preserved in its original stone texture and natural color, which conveys an air of simplicity and elegance. The basilica's belfry originally has 7 bells, but now it only has 6, and the biggest bell is already in its memorial place. If we can recall, the belfry was destroyed during the 2013 earthquake, but was restored in 2016. This church was built, destroyed, and rebuilt several times by different priors in the place where they had found the Santo Nino statue. In 1565, a makeshift altar for the image of the Holy Child was made. On the right side facing the altar, we can see the retablo of the Ecce Homo, the bust image of Jesus Christ, which is also one of the oldest images or icons found here in the Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu. This church is also known as the home or the sanctuary of the miraculous image of the Holy Child, Senor Santo Nino de Cebu, which is under the care of the Augustinians. The devotion to the Santo Nino is the oldest and one of the most popular devotion in the Philippines. The first to introduce the novena to the Santo Nino in Cebuano was Father Mateo Diaz, OSA, director of the sanctuary in 1889. This chapel was built in order for the devotees to have a more accessible veneration, and this is located on the left side of the church, facing the altar. The Santo Nino devotion radiates the message of unity, humility, and hope, as he is the Batubalani Sagugma, or the magnet of love. This is the Basilica's Pilgrim Center, or also known as the Santo Nino Pilgrim Center. This was built in order to cater more devotees and pilgrims, especially during the celebration of the Fiesta Señor held every January. Basilica Minore del Santo Nino de Cebu is just the start of our exciting and meaningful journey of tracing the Augustinians' legacy in the country. For more information and details, please follow our official website of the Santo Nino at 500 flashed on your screens. You may also follow our social media accounts. I'm Sheila, and join me in the next episode as we learn and explore together. Kini ang Pagsubay, an Augustinian Legacy Journey.
Maria, kabayo sa pagtuo. Maria, inahan ni Jesucristo, daw sabi ko sa kadagatan, yan ay sa paghihinga. Maria, inang walay sama, o kahimpitan, Birheng Bulahan, iangkong mo kami tanan. Ave, Ave Maria. Refresh yourself in this paradise. We're beautiful and wonderful places, always at your side. Welcome to Cebu. You're gonna love it here. Welcome to Cebu. So come on, let's go. Let's celebrate. This is how it goes. One beat, one dance. Let us show the world Cebu is one heart. Together we will shout, shout. Everybody say sinulog, ishagi,
if the month of January is about to unfold, and if Filipinos, especially us Cebuanos, hear the word January, this is the first thing that will pop up in our minds. The Fiesta Senor, or also known in millennial term as #Pretty Tip.
This is how it goes. One beat, one dance. Let us show the world Cebu is one heart. Together we will shout, shout. Everybody say sinulog, ishagi unkuso.
In year 2020, before the COVID-19 pandemic took place, there were 300,000 people joined the Walk with Jesus, dawn of January 9, which was also the feast of our Lord Jesus, the Black Nazarene in Quiapo, Manila. While there were estimated 300,000 people joined the Walk with Mary, dawn of January 17. And there were estimated 2.5 to 3 million people joined the Solemn and Vesperas procession, afternoon of January 18. In years 2021 and 2022, all of its processions were cancelled due to COVID-19 pandemic. Moreover, all of its novena masses, especially the opening salvo, the Vesperas Mass, the Pontifical Mass, the Thanksgiving Mass, and the Hub Mass, which marks the closing of the Sinulog Feast, were done online and via live streaming. At this point, let's take a look at these following videos of the usual Sinulog activities, which were finally done after its 2-year hiatus brought by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Viva Senor Santo Nino! Viva! Vive Senor! Viva Senor Santo Nino! Viva! Vive Senor!
Viva el Señor! Viva el Señor! pagkadayon sa Diyos.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, nasa lupa kami.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, kaluloy kami.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, kamagagi kami.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, panalili kami.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa kapalitan kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa religious kini.
Bit Senyor! Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa hermanas kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa sinipobisas kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa mga papa kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa nilulungyuga kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa pamilya kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa pamilya kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa nasunugan kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa way kapunan kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa way magkakaroon kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa way kailangan kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa way tubig kini.
Bit Senyor! Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa mga schools.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa first aiders kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa home peace kini.
Bit Senyor!
Senyor, sa pasalamat kini.
Bit Senyor!
Tanako kini.
Bit Senyor!
Oh Maria. sa pagtungo. Maria, inahan ni Jesucristo, ang sabitu sa kadagatan, danangan mo kami, kaming tanan. Ave, Ave, Adlaw-adlaw ka, Maria, ang paday kantang tuwan sa kamyat-kamyat, pagkakagibaya ka, bilangan sa nanunubos, puno ka sa grasya. Maria, babay sa paglaom. Maria, inahan nga malimon, o dalampanan, bereng gulahan, liunon mo kami, kaming tanan. Ave, Ave, Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve, a te clamamus, exules filiere, a te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in hac lacrimarum Sophia,
Daghang salamat, Maria. Daghang salamat sa imong kaayo. Daghang salamat, Maria. Daghang salamat, among inahan sa imong kaayo, sa imong pagmahal. Kanimo kami nagpasalamat sa imong kaayo, sa imong pagmahal. Kanimo kami nagpasalamat. Daghang salamat, Maria. Daghang salamat sa imong kaayo. Daghang salamat, Maria. Daghang salamat, among inahan sa imong kaayo, sa imong pagmahal. Kanimo kami nagpasalamat sa imong kaayo, sa imong pagmahal. Kanimo kami nagpasalamat.
At this point, Let us all witness this video documentary regarding Sinulog Festival, which was created and uploaded on YouTube by 8 Farms Video and Post-Production.
For 28 years, one kind of beat has only been heard. One dance has only been vowed. The Philippines, mother of all festivals, celebrated every third Sunday of January in Cebu City, Philippines. The Sinulog dance is known for its 2 steps forward and 1 step backward, in tune with the famous Sinulog rhythm from drums and native instruments. However, the dance steps we see and the drum beats we hear nowadays are products of innovations from the then so simple and natural beat and steps. This is Inday Titang, known by many as the key to the early Sinulog drum beat and dance steps.
Nakakat-on yung kuan ng pagsayaw sa sinog. City na akong panuigon. Nanisugod ko, kaya nanianya itong panahon sa gubat. Sa gubat, sige gihapon min sayaw. Unya, sa pagka-liberasyon na, nalinaw na, kaning atong 1947, nisugod ko, dinhing Amerikano. Nya, mutoy akong, sige na dyan ko ato every year.
After World War II, Inday Titang's small group in Barangay Mabolo, Cebu City already started dancing the Sinulog. Accordingly, the rich families at that time were the ones who often requested to have a Sinulog dance in their homes. She danced, she played the drums, she learned all these from her father.
Katong akong amahan, ginganlan to Buenaventura, Jola, Turang, ang angga. Ang iyang kamahuan, ang sayaw, ingon man ang tingog, nga sa kanta, sa alabasyon, sa tanan.
Even with this kind of dance celebration for the Santo Nino, Sinulog was not yet equally identified with Cebu until in 1979, a customs officer and the regional director of the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development, Mr. David Boy Odilao Jr., thought of a festival that would set Cebu apart from other festivals in the country.
We contributed. How are we going to approach the problem of the new ministry? Among the many concerns we have in our plans and programs were, of course, the identity of the region. Foremost was the Sinulog. Why? Because it involves our culture, our religion, and part of history.
One of the well-known choreographers who joined the first Sinulog parade was Mr. Mike Gonzalez.
It took Ilitinio to organize a festival for Cebu. He thought of something to do, a thing that is basically would identify Cebu.
8 schools from Cebu City joined the first Sinulog parade in 1980. But for Mike, it was not an easy start.
We tried to dance on the streets. People laughed at us. They criticized us for doing something outrageous. Only after the criticism, those who criticized us joined us. And more they joined us.
The first Sinulog, of course, it was a dance of ritual in honor of the Senor Santo Nino. Medyo solemn. Solemn yun. Nyawa mami aning mga parada-parada, mga plot-plot, wa man yanto na.
Until now, Inday Titang continues to use her 4-generation-old wooden tambol every Sinulog.
Alahi yun. lahi kay lahi man ang ilang kuan tono. Kang amo ang dating yun bisag sa unsang mga sayaw ninyo sa mga bag-o karon mataymingan yun sa akong tambol. Hini mao ni akong nakatunan sa gikan sa akong apuhan nga tuday sa akong amahan ug mao ni ang tuan kanang kahulugan nga pagsinog.
With her traditional Sinulog old beat, she recites lines.
Matamis nga bathala nga pinalangga, manindot maambungan nga bata, makabihag sa huna-huna. Dililhon labi sa mutya, among dungog ug himaya, kalipay ning among yuta, kalipay nga dili mapala. Ang imong mahal nga larawan, amo nga ginahalaran, ug maoy nahimong tuburan sa among mga kapalaran.
The Sinulog dance as seen in this modern time is also far different from the one Inday Titan learned from her father.
Pero kami kaniadto, mugamit lamig ispadag taming ihuyad na mo pinaagi sa pagsinggit sa senyor. Ang liho ka ana, ang stepping ana, di mala na mo ipon, ginganlan na og natural lang nga sayaw. Unya, kanana ang mo atras, mo abante, atras.
Just like Inday Titang, Mike's choreography for the Sinulog Dance Parade consisted only of simple steps.
Our actuations, my actuations in the Sinulog are all simple. Asking for forgiveness and thanking Him for the blessings He gives us all. In short, adoration.
Ang gibasihan namo was the basic steps na ilang gihimo because the Sinulog, as I said, moved from generation to generation.
The application of props also evolved. From the simple kahoy nga taming and kahoy nga espada in the times of Inday Titang to the gigantic and glittery props of the present times.
Kanisan senyor, kinini ang ilabang iisa-isa, wa man na namo niadto. Kanang naalang yun siya, nagpapatinti lang yun dihaan ang lamisa sa matagbay o niya among halaran.
For 25 years, I was always using green leaves, the patikan leaves. And then, one time, when I got tired of the green leaf, I said, we'll put color on it. I painted the leaves gold.
Years passed. Sinulog brightens Cebu as Cebu becomes Sinulog. Dancing contingents from all parts of the world are heading their way to Cebu City for the Sinulog Festival. With this, it paved the way for the different versions of forward and backward dance steps, giving a modern feel to the Sinulog dance. From the choreography to the musicality, we see innovation. A new breed of choreographers are being encouraged to have fresh concepts to make the Sinulog dance always new. The beginning of the Sinulog beat and Sinulog dance varied, evolved through time, and will be developed in the years to come. But we all know the one thing that binds these changes. This is for the celebration of our faith to Senor Santo Nino.
Dimension Binulog brings joy to my heart at it lets me no end Sinulog.
Ay pagkatahong sa iyang pagkabata sa matag tuig atong ginasaulog.
One beat, one dance, one vision, for one celebration.
Regina, Mater Misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve, a te clamamus, exules filiere, a te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in hac lacrimarum
Ora pro nobis Sancta Dei Genetrix.
ut beneficiamur conversionibus Christi.
The first celebration of Sinulog in Cebu City took place in year 1980, where numerous group of students of Cebu performed the Sinulog dance during the feast of Senor Santo Nino, until it became widespread and recognized as the mother of all festivals in Cebu. Balita sa Cebu News anchor and reporter Paula Mendoza will give us some additional details about Cebu Governor Gwendolyn Garcia's Sinulog dances.
After she made history for being elected as the first woman governor of the province of Cebu in 2004, it has been Governor Gwen Garcia's personal vow to offer a dance in the Sinulog Festival as a thanksgiving to the Senor Santo Nino for the blessings and protection that Cebu province has received. It was in year 2005 when she was first seen in the Sinulog Grand Stage together with the multi-awarded San Diego Dance Company. In 2006, she danced as a Maranao princess with the Haladaya Festival of the municipality of Daan Bantayan, and as an Egyptian Queen Ada of Nubia in 2007. In 2008, she was a goddess of the sea with the Palawud Festival of Bantayan. In 2009, she joined the Tostado Festival of Santander, and in 2010, she led the Ani-Anihan Festival Dancers of Tabuelan. In 2011, the governor did not only dance in the grand stage, but also joined in the Sinulog Parade with the Bonga Festival Dancers, wherein now President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. joined them in the streets of Cebu City. In 2012, she graced the Sinulog stage in a Spanish-inspired costume along with the contingent from La Torta Festival of Argao. But her most memorable yet was in 2013. The embattled governor stepped out of her office after a month of being held up inside the capital. Even at the risk of not being able to return after the festivities, Governor Garcia braved and blazed the Sinulog stage together with the Rosquillos Festival dancers of Liloan, all for her devotion, imploring to the child Jesus for truth and justice to prevail. In the year that followed, Governor Garcia then became a congressman of the 3rd District of Cebu. She danced once again with the San Diego Dance Company in 2014. It was the last time Governor Gwen was seen on stage. In her 6-year stint as a congresswoman, she prayed in silence. But as fate would have it, the people of Cebu chose her once more to be their leader in the 2019 elections. She made another history for being the first governor to come back for a 4th term. And with her comeback to the capital, she vowed to once again offer a dance to the Senor Santo Nino for guiding her through the challenges she has battled through the past years. Breaking her 5-year hiatus, Garcia graced the stage for the 11th time with the Siloy sa Alcoy Festival performers in the 2020 Sinulog Festival, along with the capital officials, department heads, and consultants. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the 2021 Sinulog Festival live performances were cancelled, as has been in 2022. But Governor Garcia continued with her annual dance offering with only a small group in front of the Capitol building. In January 2022, just a month after Super Typhoon Odette wreaked havoc in Cebu, her dance offering was with a special intention of helping the province recover from the devastation. A prayer the Santo Nino heard. This year, the loud and lively Sinulog festivities are back, and Cebuanos are eager to dance to the beat of the drums, and many are also anticipating the return of Governor Gwen's dance offering. This year's Sinulog dance will be offered specially in the occasion of the 50th anniversary of Sinulog sa Carmen in the province of Cebu, a most fitting dance prayer to the Senor Santo Nino from a Provinciana. Here she is, with the award-winning Sarok Festival dancers of the Municipality of Consolacion, praying for Cebu, praying for the Cebuanos. Governor Gwen Garcia dances for the 14th time in the Sinulog stage.
Cuties at Sinulog 2023.
¡Viva, Senor Santo Nino! ¡Viva el Señor! ¡Viva, Senor Santo Nino! El Señor, quitando la lava, el Señor. El Señor. El Señor. El Señor, mirando la alma del Señor. El Señor, mirando la alma del Señor.
That would be all for our today's vlog. For more videos, please simply visit the official Facebook fan page of IAT Philippines, and please subscribe our official YouTube channel and tap the bell button so that you can be notified with our latest posts and updates. This has been yours truly, VJ Pendleton Thompson. Yes, you heard it right and you see me right. Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, we're ready for our next adventure. Pits in your Philippines, pits in your world.
mo. Ang mga tao wag gid kay ikareklamo. Bisag asa ko paingon way puwas ang pagdaig ko. Magpabilin ka ning dughan ko. I love Cebu. Bahandi ka ning dughan ko. I love Cebu. Isingit ko ning kalibutan. Ang lang nga ikaw ipasigarbo ko. I love Cebu. Bisag asa ko paingon way puas ang kalipay ko. Bisag asa ko paingon ni panghambog yun ka. Bisag asa ko paingon way puas ang pagdaig ko. Magpabilin ka ning dughan ko. I love Cebu. Bahandi ka ning dughan ko. I love Cebu. Isingit ko ning kalibutan. Ang lang nga ikaw ipasigarbo ko. I love Cebu.
Manindot nga lugar, imong maduaw bisag asa. Di gyud ka maguol, buot ang mga tao ang nuduol. Busa, asa pa ka, Cebu na ta. O higala, manuroy ta. Bisag asa, dali na,
I
tara
love
na.
Cebu. Bahandi ka ning dughan ko. I love Cebu. Isingit ko ning kalibutan. I love Cebu. Bahandi ka ning dughan ko. I love Cebu. Isingit ko ning kalibutan. Ang lang nga ikaw ipasigarbo ko. I love Cebu. I love Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. An island of exciting things for me and for you. Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. A never-ending festivity. Let's dance and be happy. Welcome to our home, Cebu, where the sun, sand, and sea belong to you. Where the rich, vast, and beautiful present meet. A song will make your day complete. Cebu is the place to be, where smiles are given to you for free. Come to the heart of the Orient's pearl, Cebu. Our life, our inspiration. Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. An island of exciting things for me and for you. Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu.
Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. An island of exciting things for me and for you. Celebrate Cebu. Celebrate Cebu. A never-ending festivity. Let's dance and be happy. 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 Celebrate, 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 celebrate. Celebrate Cebu.
Pagkanindot huna-hunaon nga daghan kita gitigom sa Ginoo, human ang tulo ka tuig nga gidumili ang panagtigom physical tungod sa COVID. Karong adlaw nindot huna-hunaon minilyon ka mga devotos nagkatigom. Kahapon fluvial procession, foot procession, o karong adlaw lain-laing misa dinhi sa atong Basilica o sa atong Pilgrim Center. Kanyong tanan nga naghatag panahon kang Senor Santo Nino, kang Mama Mary, daghan kaayong salamat.
Isang yaw ang iyang kadayganan, mga grasyang biniusa sa iyang gugma. Ikaw ang dalan ng kinabuhi ug kamatuoran. Santo Niño, maghari ka. Daghang salamat o Senor Santo Nino, ang milagrosong bata sa Cebu. Sa pagsapnay mo o pag-abag sa among mga kalisod, paghupay sa mga kabalaka, kahingawa sa lawas o kalag, kining tanan tungod sa kaayo mo. Mga pulong ug huni dunggan na sa pagtuog, paglaom, ligunan na ang imong pagbuot, maoy matuman. Santo Niño, maghari ka, kanamong tanan. Daghang salamat o Senor Santo Nino, ang milagrosong bata sa Cebu. Sa pagsapnay mo o pag-abag sa among mga kalisod, paghupay sa mga kabalaka, kahingawa sa lawas o kalag, kining tanan tungod sa kaayo mo. Daghang salamat o Senor Santo Nino, ang milagrosong bata sa Cebu. Sa pagsapnay mo o pag-abag sa among mga kalisod, paghupay sa mga kabalaka, kahingawa sa lawas o kalag, kining tanan tungod sa kaayo mo. Daghang sapnay mo pag-abag sa among mga kalisod, paghupay sa mga kabalaka, kahingawa sa lawas mo kalag kining tanan tungod sa kaayo mo. Daghang salamat o Senor Santo Nino, ang milagrosong bata sa Cebu, sa pagsapnay mo pag-abag sa among mga kalisod, paghupay sa mga kabalaka, kahingawa sa lawas o kalag kining tanan tungod sa kaayo mo. Sa pagsapnay mo pag-abag, maghuhupay kaning lawas o kalag kining tanan tungod sa kaayo mo. Tungod sa kaayo mo. I love Cebu.